I believe we have all wanted or not heard of the G7. Reading the book while my father watched the news, I mechanically heard the G7 again. All our lives we hear the G7 summit, the summit has started, the G7 summit is coming. But what exactly is the G7 group? Who makes it? Why does it exist? When was it formed? So, hello friends. In today's video we will talk about G7. Although the G7 sounds more like a camera to me, or a mobile phone. Like a Samsung G7. It's not. The G7 is a set of countries that are very strong compared to others. Just as usual, before we go I will ask you to click like, share and subscribe and so support me. Let's go. What is the G7? The G7, Group 7, is an organization made up of 7 countries with the largest, so-called advanced, economies in the world: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States. The group is described as a community of values whose basic principles are freedom and human rights, democracy and the rule of law, as well as progress and sustainable development. What is this group doing? Representatives of the 6 most developed countries met for the first time in 1975 to exchange ideas for possible solutions to the global economic crisis. Canada joined the following year. Ministers and state officials from G7 countries meet throughout the year to discuss issues of common interest. The G7 is chaired by one of the other member states. The Summit of Leaders is being held in the country that is chairing this organization that year. Energy policy, climate change, HIV and global security are just some of the topics discussed in previous meetings. After the summit, a joint statement on the agreements reached will be published. Among the participants are the Prime Ministers, the President of the European Council, as well as the President of the European Commission. Traditionally, representatives of other countries and international organizations are also invited to the summit. Protests by various organizations and activists such as environmental activists and anti-capitalists are also regularly held during the G7 summit. Strong security keeps protesters away from the summit venue. Is the G7 working efficiently? Although critics call the group an artifact of a bygone era, the G7 said the group has launched a number of successful initiatives, such as supporting the launch of a global fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. The organization also states that the group was the driving force for the implementation of the Paris Agreement on climate change in 2016, although the withdrawal of the United States was announced from Washington. Why is China not a member? Although it has the largest population in the world and the second largest economy, the relatively low level of wealth per capita means that the Chinese economy is not considered as advanced as the economies of G7 member states, although China is part of a wider group of G20 countries. Wasn't Russia once a member state? Russia joined the group in 1998. The organization soon became known as the G8. After Russia's annexation of Ukraine and Crimea in 2014, Russia was suspended. Former US President Donald Trump believes that it should be accepted again. We should have Russia at the negotiating table, Trump said at the time. What challenges do G7 leaders face? There were numerous disagreements within the group. During the summit in Canada in 2018, Trump clashed with other members because of the tax that America imposed on imports from the European Union, but also on climate change. Some also criticized the group for not depicting the current state of global politics and the economy. Among the G7 member countries, there are no countries from Africa and Latin America, as well as from the Southern Hemisphere. The challenge is also presented by countries whose economies are strengthening very quickly, such as India or Brazil. They are members of Group 20, but not Group 7. Some economists believe that the economies of these countries will surpass the success of some G7 members by 2050. That would be all for today, guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to click like and share. If you want to watch more similar content in the future, click subscribe and support me. See you. The explainator greets you.